My ex messaged me on Messenger the other day, and I share my healing journey in the hopes of contributing to yours. So I wanted to share this part of my healing journey because our healing journeys are ever evolving. There's no healing destination per se. It's just constant, string sequence of events and interactions and thoughts that help us to grow and expand, to love ourselves a little bit more, to understand ourselves a little bit more, and to make different choices and decisions. And so I wanted to walk you through what my thought process was after I received this message, because it doesn't end. We don't get to a place where we don't have any feelings or emotions with it, but we can make better choices, and we can make different choices, and we can do things differently to end up with different results. So just to give a little bit of context, this ex and I don't share any children. We don't share anything. So there's no reason to be in communication. There's no reason for him to contact me. So when I saw this message flash up on my phone to say, "Hey Lisa, how are you and the kids?" My first thoughts were like, why? What is the intention behind this message? And I think that that's really important to note, because when you don't share children and there's no reason to be in communication, you always wonder, like, what is behind this? What's your intention? What's the purpose of this? And so then I thought back to, I recently shared a post on this page about my beloved dog who was a pet of domestic violence. And earlier this year, I made a heartbreaking decision to put him down because he just became too aggressive and too dangerous to have around my kids. He was so protective of me, but he just got too aggressive and too dangerous to have around the kids, to have around our other dogs, and I had to make that decision to put him down. And this is the ex who, treated my puppy horribly. And so I kind of thought to myself, has he seen that post? And then I remembered that I actually banned him from this page many, many years ago when he, just after I, left him, and he tried to contact me through the page, so I banned him from the page. So unless he's looking at this page from, another profile or somebody else is passing on messages, it's probably not that. And so you always just sort of wonder, like, what's the purpose? And then what do I do? Like, how do I respond to this? And so I sat on it for a little bit, thinking, and I thought through my options, and I know this will make sense to a lot of you. I created these scenarios with, okay, if I don't respond, will that make him angry and will he contact me more? If I do respond, am I opening up the lines of communication? If I do respond, what would I say that, won't engage him further or make him angry? Or, there's so many thoughts that go through your head. So when he asked, how am I and how are the kids, some of my first thoughts were, why? What's the purpose behind this? I did think to myself, well, you're obviously single, to be reaching out. I actually can't even recall, like, off the top of my head, how many years ago I left or kicked him out of my house. Like, it'd have to be 5 or 6 years. And I did hear from him, and I changed my number so he can't contact me by phone. Facebook's a little bit easier when, you're accessible, because if you do block profiles, people just create other ones, or they, get other people to send you messages or whatever. So I don't find the blocking effective per se. It's about trying to work out how to interact with them in the least engaging way possible. And you know what? That's a horrible way to think, but that's how we have to think of these things. That's how we need to process these things. I don't want to make him more angry. I don't want to hurt his feelings, to prompt any more engagement, or, so that he feels he's got something to prove. Because when we don't respond, or we don't respond in the way that they, are looking for, it can really spark, those negative, that verbally abusive name calling type of behavior, because they feel attacked, their ego is hurt, and all the rest of it. So then they turn around and try and sort of pick at you. So this is my thought process. And then I kind of thought, should I respond and say, please don't contact me again? Should I just not respond at all and delete the message? What is this about? And so, when he had said, how am I and the kids, I got angry, because to begin with, like, he was amazing and my kids loved him. And then as the violence and the abuse and, the name calling and all of that stuff came to be, he was horrible to my children. And I thought to myself, how dare you ask about my children? They hated you for what you had, the way you treated me, the way you spoke to me, but also the names that he called my children. It was horrendous. And I also got really angry because I thought, you spat in my face during our relationship. You grabbed me by the hair. You hit me. You slept with somebody else. When we were on, a break, I had kicked him out, and then months later found out that he had actually gone back to one of his exes, and I just, it's sort of that anger with, like, why? Like, don't contact, I don't want to hear from you. I don't know what your intentions are. I don't know what's behind this. And so what I ultimately did was I just deleted the message. And then, a few hours later, I sort of thought to myself, should I have messaged back and just said, look, I actually don't want you to contact me again? But then I thought to myself, I actually don't owe him anything. I don't owe him any explanation. And I just deleted the message. So there may be, I don't know, another message that may come through if his ego is hurt. I guess especially if he sees this video or somebody sends it to him, because that could happen too. I don't know everybody who follows my page. I don't know who's passing on information. And that's the risk that I take with having a page like this and sharing my journey and sharing the personal, events and interactions and thoughts and feelings that I have. It does put me, put more attention on me for people to reach out, people from my past, to take offense to something I've said, to, want to clear up anything, or to want to attack me. But silence hides violence, and the whole reason for this page is to give a voice to those who don't have a voice, those who are yet to find their voice. It's to empower, victim survivors, to show you that there is life after trauma, there is life after domestic violence, and you can heal from your emotional pain and your trauma. But we're not immune to it, no matter how far along in our healing journeys we are, because I got a message from an ex and I immediately went into, oh God, what do I do? How do I respond to this? Should I respond at all? Why are you messaging me? You were horrible to my kids. Don't ask about my kids. Did you see the post about my dog? And it's just this whole sequence of thoughts. We want to do, the best thing possible to not provoke any further reactions or responses. We can't always predict what the responses are going to be, but we can respond in a way that feels the best to us, that, feels respectful, that acts in integrity, that doesn't provoke any further. I certainly don't want to have any communication with him. I don't want to I don't want him to know anything about my life and my children and what we're doing. So that's a bit of a thought process. I deleted the message. I don't have any need to communicate with him. I don't have any desire to communicate with him. And we'll see what happens from there. So we're not immune to it. It is this healing journey from, after abuse and after trauma is an ongoing, ever evolving process. But you will get to a point where you don't have to respond. You don't feel, if this had happened, 4 years ago or whatever, I would have responded, and it would have been in a much different way than what I have now. But I've grown and I've expanded and I've learned that I don't have to communicate with everybody. I don't have to respond to everything. I don't have to have a reaction. I get to just delete and move on. I get to just do what makes me feel better. I don't have to explain myself. So if you've got exes messaging you, do what feels right for you, but also in a way that doesn't continue to engage with them, because you can't heal by, continuing to engage with the people who broke you.